in the manhwa, they do the classic what? I'm sure that's nothing nosebleed.
Yeah.
But in the live action, it is I was like, at a point, I was like impressed that they figured out how to rig that up.
Yeah.
That like, it just fountains and they're just like, oh boy.
Welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime manga podcast, where we usually review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Webtoon Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by
Megan Manhwa Perrine.
Cody, the crypto keeper, Decker.
The Crypt Keeper?
Crypto, like cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I get it.
But instead, it's modern.
Gotcha.
What's more scary than
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
Dogecoin.
Ethereum.
Dodged a bullet there.
And that is perfect, and a perfect way to start the episode. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Volume 1. We've gotten a lot of requests to finally tackle a manhwa, and this is going to be our first series review that is going to be a manhwa. It's something that I've never read before. It's something that I did some research on because I wanted to know exactly what the difference between a manhwa and a manga was. And it's actually pretty interesting what I found out. I mean, a lot of cool differences between the two. And I want to talk to you guys before we start like unpacking the events of this series, like sort of what you knew about the two mediums, if you liked your experience with this one versus like, reading so many manga. But first, if you're joining us and you don't know by the thumbnail what we're talking about today, we're talking about Sweet Home.
Oh yeah, so sweet. Such a nice little story.
Yes.
Characters that, just having a really good time in life. And I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah. They had a great glasses guy.
They had a great glasses
guy.
That I was able to cosplay as because he just has a shirt.
He did it.
Is that why you're wearing the shirt?
Yeah.
It's because he was like, oh, sweet. I have both of those.
I thought you were just rocking button-ups now, dude. I kind of like it.
I'm into button-ups too, but also I was like, this is my chance.
Yeah,
I feel weird about white button-ups.
You've been getting a lot of comments, dude, like on your physique lately, dude, and you really are like busting out of that shirt right now.
Yeah. Well, I work out to sadder I am, so I've been.
Oh, so you're really sad then.
Yeah, I've been going through it. And then I just wanted to, not to break the mood, you like cosplayed as like the warning tape.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's color coordinated.
What about me?
You look like you're running from something.
Something, we can't.
Yeah, yourself.
Look like you're wearing the jacket
and your
from
feelings.
the girl from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, let's say rude. Oh yeah, I'm like Kimmy.
And she kind of looks like the girl in this.
You're an asshole, Scott. And you are kind of an asshole. No one talks about it. You're dating a high school girl, like you fucking creep.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah. No, he's like 26.
As if someone at this very table didn't have experience with the very same thing.
It was completely different, you fucking asshole. Okay, it was completely different. He was not already a grown ass man. Shut it up. Pipe it up.
How old was Scott Pilgrim?
He was at least 25.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
He was dating an 18. She was 17. She was 17. They confirmed that. It's canon.
Okay, she was 17, but I'm going to have to look up how old Scott was.
Look it up.
Not right now. But I will say
before you
this.
fucking call me out, you little bitch. I can't believe you. Sweet home.
Sweet home. Sweet home. Not Sweet Home, Alabama, but Sweet Home, the manhwa.
Sweet hole. Sweet hole.
Sweet hole. Sweet hole, Alabama.
Yes. Now that's a song I want to hear.
That's a movie I'd watch, a story I'd read, and maybe I'd star in.
Oh.
So obviously it's the first manhwa I think any of us have ever read, right?
I've read Killing Stalking.
Oh, you did read that?
Take that how you want. If you know the series, it's a little sussy.
I've heard, nothing but sussy things about it.
It's very graphic and dark and crazy, but that's the only manhwa I've ever had any experiences with.
Cody?
I've never read a manhwa before, although I feel like I've seen this. This seems like the art style of web comics.
Yeah, very, very much so. And I think manhwas are oftentimes called webtoons. That's what they're referred to online. And, something interesting about manhwas, I don't know if either of you guys know this, but manhwas are specifically designed to be read online. That's why there are, they scroll vertically. And sometimes when you read a digital version of a manga, especially like with things like Berserk, there's those 2-page spreads that get cut all the time because they're made with print in mind. But manhwa is only made for digital and scrolling.
And you can feel that in the like tension in the horror scenes. Like it's really well done with how you have to get to that point with scrolling and how the panels are so tiny. You know, they're tinier than like even manga, and it doesn't take up the full page, just a little sliver, and then you have to scroll through more and get little slivers of story. So you're just constantly just like, oh my God, or like holding down the key and it's like, oh my God.
Easy read.
Oh yeah.
It was an easy read, and it's also like it was a very different experience. You talking about scrolling, like when we read manga, I mean, I don't know if it's because this series specifically wasn't very dialogue heavy, but I mean, I felt like I was on a constant scroll. Like I feel like I didn't stop once.
It was a lot of like, oh, chapter's over. Okay.
Yeah.
It was fast. I mean, the color was awesome. We don't read a lot of things that are in color. We have some pages that are in color.
Yeah, the only manga that's fully in color is Kuro.
I think
true.
we read something else. Shadow House has a full color version too.
Same author.
Yeah, same author. Great,
same.
great, both great stories. Kuro may be better.
Kuro's definitely better.
But also that's why as well, because of printing. You know, all these big publications don't want to, fork over the extra money to print in color, so they make everything black and white. And I don't know how you guys, I know Cody, you don't like necessarily care too much about art, or it's like it definitely doesn't like factor into like your enjoyment of the series necessarily.
Seeing this art style reminded me that I definitely take how good art is in general in mangas for granted. Because I'm like, oh, like the floor for art in manga is actually really high.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Like this like made me appreciate, oh yeah, like those people are also amazing artists in addition to writing these stories.
Yeah. And I don't think you're like necessarily throwing any shade, but I feel like I'm picking up what you're putting down. And that is that like this, like the manga art does feel of a higher caliber. Like it just feels like it's a little bit more, I don't know. It's got more style. It feels more refined. This felt very, and it was drawn beautifully and the color was amazing, but it did feel very, I don't want to use this word, but it just felt very like not basic, but like.
But I mean, if you told me like I don't see any difference in this and like ads you see on like for like this like this webcomic, they all like kind of look the same to me.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, but I've also only read. I don't know if like this was just, I don't know. It just felt very. This was drawn in like on a pad,
and that's I think the difference too, right? Is because I know a lot of manga artists still do traditional, but a lot of them do digital, and even when they do digital, there's like all these like presets for them to still be able to get the same effect. But this did feel very like almost like a little too refined, or almost like a little.
It didn't fit the theme or the feeling of the story.
That's true
either.
Too.
Yeah, like. It like stuck out more because it was nice art. It wasn't like terrible, but it was definitely, there was like a disconnect between what it looked like and what it was about.
Yeah.
Especially with like the content in the beginning.
Oh yeah, dude. Megan, how did you feel about the art versus like manga?
I mean, everything like ditto to what Cody said. I mean, it was kind of nice to not have to pay attention to every little detail in the background and just mindlessly just like, yes, this is great. Yeah. Like just really like, not like, not having to pay attention, but like it was just there. Like, okay, here's the monster. Or
why'd you pause?
Because that wasn't his way.
There's a politician in this.
There's
manga?
a politician in our past president.
Oh my god.
Yeah, take a stance.
Yeah. But it was kind of nice, and like I said, I think that it really shines because it is like mainly for digital. The panels are smaller, so the intensity kind of rises in some moments, and that's where it really like, it grabs me. Like it's not because his face looks like completely like super detailed. I mean, some points like we'll talk about it later, like the intercom scene, like that was a really cool scene. And there was some detailed stuff in there, but it was kind of refreshing to not have to look at everything. But I wanted to say that the story and the art, let me read the names. The story is by Kim Carnby, and the art is by Hwang Young-chan. And these are the same guys that did Bastard, which we've gotten recommendations for before.
I thought they were just insulting us.
Like, read Bastard.
You stupid bastard.
Yeah. But it's one of the most popular manhwas too, so that's interesting. And I saw like a panel of Bastard, and it does look very similar. And there's even like a reference people were saying in this for Bastard, which was cool, but I don't know it yet. So
also, did you guys watch the live action?
I did.
Megan did. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
The first 2 episodes.
So, okay, we'll talk about that.
I have a lot of thoughts on it.
They took some liberties. Lady Liberty.
Oh.
Okay.
Take that.
All right. Usually Cody's the political one, but Megan, I think you're taking.
I don't know.
You're picking
dude.
up what he's putting down.
Yeah.
Taking over. You're picking up the torch.
My stars and
government?
my stars and stripes are really coming out, huh?
Oh.
Oh boy. Anyway.
It was okay. Anyway, fuck me. Sweet Home.
No, I was just gonna say too, because I do want you guys, and I want to give you guys the floor eventually when we get there to talk about the movie. I didn't watch it. I wanted to.
It's a miniseries.
Oh, it's a miniseries. To talk about that. It's on Netflix, so if anybody's curious and they want to check it out, I do want you guys to talk about it.
Have other means of watching things.
Sure. But also, one thing I did want to mention too about the color and what I think is like cool about color versus like black and white is because you could do with horror and stuff, you can create these cool lighting effects. Like you can create this dark shadow and the light from the phone. And, there's all these like really cool aesthetic sort of like vibes that you can achieve through like color and stuff like that. But I do feel what you're saying. Like sometimes like I Am a Hero, right? That hatchy sort of black and white, like grungy.
That matches. I feel like they're very two similar like
Yes.
stories. It's like the art style of I Am a Hero fits that world.
Yes.
And the art style of I Am a Hero would fit perfectly in this.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what it was about it. I mean, I have to say that like while I, enjoyed this series and reading this series, especially for how fast I was able to get through it, like I do think that to me, I prefer manga. And I've only read one manhwa series, so I can't like come out and say that I prefer, one over the other after having just read one. But I mean, other popular series too, like God of High School, Tower of God. What's Solo Leveling is another one too. Yeah, Cody?
Oh, no, because now I'm thinking like, there's like, oh, like books are better because you get to imagine what it looks like. It's like coloring and in between of like, when it's in black and white, you imagine what colors it's going to be.
Yeah.
So like if it is colored, you're like, oh, like in my mind, it was better. Like if it was in black and white, would it look better?
I often find sometimes that like color does like take away from art sometimes. Like I don't know what it is about that classic black and white style that just looks so much more elegant, I think, to me. But also just pacing before we get into it too. Like I thought the pacing of this was like, it felt less like a manga in that like it moved so quickly, but also like it lingered so long. Like you'd be scrolling, I feel like for pages, and it'd just be the same scene getting closer and closer and closer.
I love that. It's not done enough in like horror manga, the anticipation. Like that's what really is scary to me. Not gore, not like other shit. Like it's the anticipation of like not knowing what's happening, just like the sounds just creaking, like when someone's coming up the stairs and it's just scrolling and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It scrolls back to him and it scrolls back to the stairs, and it's just like totally like I really enjoyed this way more than I thought I was going to. I read a little past what Mary's supposed to do.
What's new?
But it was really good.
It ended on a great cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Hold on. No,
Oh,
dang it, it's gone. Never mind. I didn't know what the story was about.
Yeah, neither did I.
So
had no
I was
idea.
because the story does like it like stays on like the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I guess it's just this.
Which I was on board for.
Yeah, and it's very similar to I Am a Hero.
Yeah.
Where you're like, is that even, are there actually anything going on here?
I was actually like truthfully a little like kind of bummed when it like shifted completely, because it does become like a completely different story. And I don't think this is giving anything major away, but like things just are barely starting to get cooking at the end of 10 chapters. Like that's another
still
thing
in
too.
one volume.
Still in one volume, yeah. But I mean, like before they're able to really realize, they're like just figuring out what's happening.
That's what I like that too about like zombie apocalypse or like anything to do with kind of like this. It's like it would be like a genuine, like that's how it would work. Like no one would really know immediately what to do. It would kind of just be like a progression of, and I do like the time skips that they do, and we'll go into that. But I thought other than the art, it was well done. The story's simple, but I think it needs to be for this type of format. So
yeah.
And like as I was reading, I took like notes on like everything that like popped out to me. I was like, oh, that was a nice character moment. And just the live action just didn't do every single thing that I like, all the little moments that I enjoyed. I was like, oh, like how did that even save money? That was like they just cut out 1 second of a character do something. Oh, that was like a huge
wow.
And they added like character moments that didn't need to be there, like whatsoever.
They added the opposite of a character moment.
Yeah, they added a new character. Like, just like what?
And there's a character who has like a running joke, and then in the live action, it's not a joke.
They make it real. They make it real. So they make it real, and it's like what?
It sort of like undoes all of the little humor.
Yeah.
It's also very well done, though.
It
looked
really
amazing. I watched the trailer, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it at the end, but I actually enjoyed it a lot. But I'm like, damn it, I guess I have to read the whole manga before I can watch this. Because,
Manhwa.
Yeah, the manhwa, because it's just that thing of like, this looks good, but it's not doing all of the things that really popped out to me.
Well, also, I mean, we could talk about it like throughout, like if there's anything that because I feel like people who are watching this would also be really interested in checking the live action out or have checked the live action out.
Well, yeah, we could start off in the beginning because the beginning is kind of changed.
Comes up,
oh, yeah.
As it comes up, like we don't have to wait till the end to talk about it.
The prologue of the live action, you're like, oh, it starts on like this is like the end game. This is like the story at the end, prologue type deal. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you expect it to stop after like 10 seconds. And then it keeps going. You're like, oh, okay. And you expect it to stop after a minute. And then you're like, okay, but now it has to stop because that's where you would leave a cliffhanger note on. And then it keeps going for 5 minutes. The prologue is 5 minutes. They're just showing like the ending happen. I'm like, like it just does little stuff like that bugs me.
Yeah, the opening was just like, I get why they do things with like live action adaptations. Like, of course, they want to like bring the audience in and they want to make people excited for what's to come. Like, what's this all about? But you didn't need to do that. It would have added way more anticipation if you just had it begin like the moment.
Well, and you think too,
which they do the thing of like they kind of cover it in the second episode, but they dial it way down, which you kind of get reading at this point when you read stories like this. You're like, this will not be in the adaptation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if anybody was gonna do it right, like it'd be like North Korea, dude. Because I mean, with Squid Game out now.
You mean South?
I mean South. Yeah. I mean, yes, South.
Yeah, South.
I mean,
North.
because I mean, with Squid Game like being as popular as it is, and like Parasite, and I mean, like their films and their TV is so good. Like it's so good.
But they absolutely nailed the Mr. Gangster guy. The guy who plays him. You need to watch that show. Anyone just to see because that guy is great. Probably the most attractive guy in the world.
Wait, who?
The guy who plays the guy who like the girl thinks is a gangster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like hot, like cool, or like hot.
Voice. I think he is a voice actor and things too.
He's just. I mean, they take liberties with that character that I was like, okay.
A lot of issues with that, but
he's
the
hot.
guy is
Yeah,
great, and when you see him,
wow,
they rearrange scenes with him too. But when he does get his scene, it's like actually does look cooler than what happened in the manhwa. Wow. So like the series does things like that are and. They have interesting music choices, but
yeah,
really,
yeah,
it's one of those things that I enjoy when it's like a cheesy song, and I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, Squid Game was fucking phenomenal. I just finished it literally like 2 days ago. I binged it all. I sat on my couch and did nothing and just watched Squid Game, and the ending was kind of like, but I mean, you guys have to watch it.
I watched the first episode, and maybe we'll talk about it at length a little bit more in our Patreon episode. But yeah, you finished it. I've only seen an episode. Cody hasn't watched it at all, I don't think, but I do plan on finishing it. And if we don't watch out, dude, if America doesn't watch out, dude, Korea's gonna take over, dude, because they got like K-pop, dude, killing it, dude. I mean, their film. I mean, Parasite, won an Oscar, dude. I mean, and then you have Squid Game.
Gonna be next.
Squid Game is the most popular television show on Netflix ever. I mean, Korean barbecue is amazing. And what does America have? Hip hop, that's pretty tight.
Yeah, hip hop is cool.
Eagles,
rock and roll.
But I mean, I feel like
I mean, we run off rock and roll.
I mean, we built this city.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Remember that?
I don't.
Do you remember Detroit?
I don't remember.
Do you remember Detroit?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember Detroit Rocks?
I don't remember that.
All right, but this series.
Yes, this series. For a quick synopsis, if anybody doesn't know anything about this series at all, the synopsis is as follows. After an unexpected family tragedy, Cha Hyun-soo decided to leave his home and move into an apartment. Soon after, monsters begin trying to wipe out humanity. People inside the apartment are trapped inside the building, realizing that monsters are lurking everywhere outside.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't read the synopsis either.
Which, yeah, I enjoyed going and not knowing it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it to an extent for that switch too, because it starts is super emotional.
It reminded me of a character that I like.
Yourself?
Yeah, I was about to say.
First of all, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was wondering, this guy's rules. He just does.
Oh my god.
I'll bet.
Yeah, this
I'll
guy's
bet.
literally the worst fucking person.
Like, yeah, I like characters like that like, you know, they start off on a really low note and they do think ways that at least I'm like, I mean, yeah, we've all like thought that at some point, right? It reminded the character from John Dives at the end, Dave. Very similar in like, they have like really negative thoughts that like, it's the point as they like go on from it as the story continues.
Well, I mean, he needs an arc, right?
Yeah, which I have a friend who like does not like characters like that at all.
He wants them to be
They don't
heroes from the beginning.
Yeah, or it's like, or if you can tell them like, well, the point is that the way they're behaving is wrong, and they're going to learn, and they're like, I don't like it though.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I did like, you know, that it spent time with our character, setting up who he was, and then this moment, it really just opens on this moment of his mom asking him to go on this like family trip with them,
and he's busy gaming, and I'm like,
yeah, he's like, fuck off.
I mean, honestly, it's like I have behaved that way.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, just because like of the outcome of the situation, like we can't blame him for not like. They paint him as if he's like some horrible son, but it's like, I mean, he didn't know they were gonna fucking die.
I mean, watching you are just like, oh yeah, this is just he's being a bad son right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, she's just standing at the door,
like crying.
Yeah, she was weeping, dude.
God.
It was insane.
Which, like, you haven't come out, you haven't talked to me, like, what?
And he yells at her, tells her to like shut.
That was a little aggressive.
Yeah, no, he's like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
That's where it's like, oh yeah, like he's gonna start on this kind of note.
Yeah,
and maybe he's going through like puberty or something, you know.
He's like 17.
Yeah,
so that maybe late bloomer.
Yeah,
really late.
Just for in the live action, they cut out him swearing at her. They cut out her crying. It's more of her just being like, "Oh, you don't want to go? Okay." And then she's like, same text, but you are just like, "Oh, they removed the things that you're like, oh,
right." So you have no real reason going in to feel like you want him to like change or succeed or. Well, anything.
He just seems more like of a loner than he does of a troubled person.
Gotcha.
You know, and which it's funny because it's I'm comparing it a lot to John because it's the same thing in the movie adaptation. They dialed down all of his negative traits to where he's just sort of like sarcastic instead of being like a deeply like disturbed person.
Interesting. Yeah, because he really lays it on. He really gives it to her.
Yeah, he gives it to his mom.
He gives it to her.
No.
And she doesn't like it, dude. She's crying. She's saying that your dad's gonna be moving jobs or something. He's gonna be going on a long.
This is gonna be our last
trip.
family gathering before he moves.
And he's like, "You think I give a fuck?"
He's like, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, I know.
And then it cuts to like them in the car, and
which
all,
you're like
driving.
the second they get in the car, you know what's gonna happen,
dude. The moment I see a family in a car, and one family member's not there, I know what's happening. I know exactly what's happening. I know that there's not only gonna be death, but that like. An oncoming car is gonna hit them.
Yeah,
he's gonna be like, "What was that?" And then it's gonna be a truck. And,
yeah,
exactly.
And they try to give the dad like because even the dad in the beginning, and you know, our main character has some flashbacks of him and his dad, or one at least, and you know their relationship a little bit. But even his dad in the car was kind of an asshole.
Well, and then he gets a moment right at the end where they all like sort of go, which I like that little turn on because one you know. Everyone's going to do the car family scene in the car before the accident happens. And they either do, we're all such a happy family, or like, we're all like arguing.
Yeah.
And they argue. And then they include the second where everyone like calms down and they all apologize, which I thought was a nice like addition to that formula.
It definitely makes it hit harder,
which they leave out the cool down apology in the live action. Again, just every little thing that like highlighted the series to me.
Yeah, it was very odd. Some of the choices they made are very like, I mean, okay. I mean, I guess, but okay.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way I could really like, there's no other reason.
Interesting. Yeah, because I like that too. You know, it does make me feel so much sadder when it happens. And, you know, they get hit by an oncoming truck and
which honestly, up until this point, you're like, okay, this is like a standard story.
Yeah.
It isn't until you see how he behaves at the funeral.
That was crazy.
I know. That's when it really solidified for me. Like, oh, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, at first, like I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point in the story. His parents die, his whole family dies, including his mother and his little sister and everything. And I'm still trying to put myself in his position. And I also didn't like how there were other people at his parents' or family's funeral that were giving him shit at first. Because to me, it's like, dude, he lost his whole family. Like, that's got to be like insane to have to go through.
Yeah, but they know how he is. That's why they're like pissed already.
Yeah, they're like,
of course he wouldn't show up.
The reason he's alive is because he didn't even go to the family gathering, and you are like, yeah, that was probably.
This is not the time to.
This is not a time to like yell at him for being a bad person.
That's my point.
No, but still, I was like, oh shit. But then he does something that I'm like, okay.
What does he say to his family's bodies, Megan?
He goes, this is not enough damn money, you assholes.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
Yeah, he has like 3 checks, and he's like, you expect me to live off this?
It's like $3,000.
I'm like, get a job, bitch. Yeah. You know?
Do you remember, like, does he say the same thing in the adaptation?
No.
What is he?
I don't know. It really dials it down. He doesn't say like, what the fuck, I can't live. He's just like, this isn't enough money, or like something. Like his whole character is like way less of an asshole in the adaptation. In the adaptation in the Netflix show, he just seems like really just like a sad guy. Like they don't really go into like his psyche where he's thinking all this like like you know like I don't know, boyish thoughts. Like they don't even go into that. But he's much more. They make him just much more of like a sad, depressed kid versus like, oh, my family's dead. Which
is why Cody loved the Netflix adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, watching him, it was like, yeah, this is like the perfect person.
Yeah, why isn't this the number one show on Netflix?
Yeah, Sweet Home. They should call this the full package.
Oh,
because that's what this guy is.
That's a great name. That's a great name. Write that down.
I'll write it down.
But yeah, so he's an asshole. I mean, he is a bad kid. I mean, nobody, and again, whether it's how he's dealing with it or not, I mean, we've just seen so many times how he treats his family and how he is just like to himself. I mean, he's a loner. He's a shut-in on top of just being an asshole. So he gets, because of his parents' money, he gets, is that why he's able to get that place?
He starts doing, which I thought was like a good insight into someone who's never had to deal with it. You see him like try to figure out the math, but he's like,
yeah, that was funny.
I have to sell the house, and using the money from selling the house, I can buy a shitty apartment.
Yeah,
that's his plan. And then he's like, and then maybe I'll kill myself.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He also does self-harm.
This is it.
That was before even the accident.
Yeah,
which is another reason why, you know, I'm not saying what he's doing is cool, but I mean, maybe he's just dealing. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's just dealing the only way he knows how to deal.
I was at a point where I was under the impression he was like molested.
Maybe.
By who?
I don't know, but like it was like, okay, so like something serious happened to him.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's why like even when he did show up and whatever, and you know, maybe I don't know, maybe
because you see a flashback of like his dad like yelling about the lawsuit, and you're like, what happened?
Oh no, I think it has to do with his high school because you see kind of.
What?
They include a flashback in the manga in volume 1 of him being.
Thank you.
Of him being beaten up by a. You know, the classic. High school kingpins that have absolute authority
that exist in every high school.
Every high school, and they will kill people.
They will murder you, and they will get all of your friends to create weapons.
And the teacher will go like, whatever you say, sir.
Yeah. He says like, oh, these guys were all of his friends. So like that probably did a number on him. Like, oh, all the people I trusted like fucking beat my ass and no one likes me anymore.
But his dad is also the kind of dad who just calls him, I mean, he called him a loser and he called him all these things like, you know, right? Yeah. Which, you know, felt right. And
it's just like, this is just like a reality TV show, I guess.
Yeah, am I watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians or what am I watching? But yeah, I mean, he clearly is going through something with the self-harm and everything.
Which is where you get a different like thing as the story goes on. Like first it looks like he's just like a bad kid. And then it's like, oh, his family absolutely is not like treating it seriously.
Yeah, no.
And they're not like giving him treatment. Even like personal, they're just like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, why isn't he better?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I think even people were maybe judging him about selling the house, like how could he even do that, you know? But I wouldn't want to stay in the same place that I grew up in with my whole family gone now. And like you said, he's planning on killing himself anyway, so he's doing the math. He's like, if I only eat, you know, this amount for this amount, I could stretch it out this much. But
which we've been and
I'm there every month.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. Yeah.
The Huel budget gets tighter every month.
Yeah, but it helps. Huel helps.
You'll help.
It heals.
It heals.
It heals.
Heals.
Yeah.
But I like the little things too of him being like, what am I gonna do? Like he like trying, like he has no concept of paying rent or anything.
Yeah, he's a young kid.
That was all just chapter 1.
Yeah.
And which is crazy because I feel like the most happens in chapter 1. And then like the other 9 chapters are just kind of one event slowly unfolding. And it's just that he is at this new apartment building that is run down, and he meets a security guard and
who like has an explosive weed whacker.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't even know those things could do that.
Can you imagine if they hit you? That would have been a disaster.
Yeah. He acted way too chill about that.
Yeah, it was so chill.
Off.
He's like, excuse me.
Yeah, he's like, that almost never happens. What do you mean almost?
I know.
Yeah. And it's absolutely a nitpick, but it's just this little thing. Where in the manga, it hits a tree, and in the show, it hits a sign. And you're like, Manhwa.
Yeah, keep correcting him. Yeah,
you'll get but it hits a sign. You're like, why didn't you just do why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do these little changes?
Yeah, I would get that. I would be annoyed by that.
Manhwa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cody.
They really go in depth with the security guard in the Netflix adaptation too.
Really, they thought he was a character.
Yeah,
they
really. Yeah, no, they really flushed him out, and you felt bad for him. Like,
speaking of flushed out, in the manhwa, people get nosebleeds, right? So his story's kicked off because the person that hit the family car got a nosebleed. He has like a couple of drops of blood. In the live action, it is not a couple of drops of blood.
Oh my god!
It is like a fountain that goes on for like a minute.
Yeah, you would know something's wrong with you if that happened to you in real life. You wouldn't be like, oh, silly nosebleed. It's like, oh no, your brain is like fucking bleeding.
Your brain melted. You don't have a brain anymore.
Yeah.
Because like
brainless. Brainless.
Everybody does that. Like everybody's
nose is like
they all
we'll talk about it. But
they all react like in the manhwa they do the classic what? I'm sure that's nothing nosebleed.
Yeah.
But in the live action, it is a I was like at a point I was like impressed that they figured out how to rig that up.
Yeah.
That like it just fountains and they're just like, oh boy.
Oh, something's not okay.
I'm like, I was expecting someone to be like, oh my god.
Yeah, like freak out. Like I would
we all
freak
get
out.
Nosebleeds.
I freak out nosebleeds. Yeah, you regular nosebleeds. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, you go like, oh, why is that?
They still dab it, even though it's like they have like a waterfall sound effect. It's like you see like waves happening. You're just like, wow, someone was like, let's just do things to just upset people who read it.
Wow. I mean, I feel like this Netflix adaptation is pretty dope.
Honestly,
good.
It was good. It just does. I guess I would have liked it if I didn't read the manhwa and seen how it just did everything better.
That's true.
Well, he shows up, the security guard, and the manhwa doesn't get fleshed out.
Yeah, by the way, I'm doing gardening work because everyone's fired or everyone's off work.
Yeah, and this place is a fucking pile of shit, dude. And I'm just doing my best to make it look as nice as it can look. And then he asks him, he has like this like friendly dialogue with him, and I like that he doesn't like pry too much into his like personal life. He sees a young kid.
He kind of does. He has like
in the manhwa.
Yeah. He goes like, he just asks him like, why is a young kid like you in a place like that? And he's just like, I'm by myself. And he's like,
quiet talker, huh?
Oh yeah, he
and he's
talk.
Like, do you want to speak up? And he's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, but
dude.
he just won't answer him.
And he's like, that's my sweet home.
Yeah, I miss my sweet home.
I miss my sweet home. What was that?
That's the sweet home.
My whole family died. I was just gardening, dude.
Whoa, I wasn't asking. I don't want to talk
Chill.
about
I'm
you.
just a security guard doing
It's not all about you, dude.
Yeah.
Chill.
I got
dog.
a wife and kid, a kid who hates me. There's this whole backstory that they fleshed out in the Netflix.
He's like living there, and he has like a bed in his office because he.
Oh wow,
like,
they really went there.
The boss is just like, he's like, oh, I want you to do this, and he goes, well, he's like, get that bed out of this office, and he's like, well, what? How am I supposed to sleep? And he goes, I don't want you to get any rest.
What cartoon?
The director was reading the manhwa and went, this security guard is the unsung hero.
Yeah,
of
it
the
sounds
story.
like it.
Yeah, dude, it was really like, what?
But he finally does settle into his new apartment, and there's a lot of characters there.
I love the scene where he's
surrounded by attractive single women.
Yeah, he fucking slumps down and he just goes, fuck. I was like, I felt that hard.
I mean, he lives next to like an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a hot,
he lives next to a hot single actress and a hot single musician.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's like out there, guys.
And then you got a gangster holding it down, dude, the whole building down. I mean, he's got a pretty sweet setup, this guy. And, he has a fleeting interaction with the actress where she he overhears her on the phone talking about an audition.
I'm going to get this role. You don't know anything. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the role.
Yeah. And then he's, constantly having to deal with the bass player above him making noise, which you can't be a musician in an apartment building.
Yeah.
But in every movie,
right?
In movies, a musician living next door to you is like the most common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but come on, dude, have some respect.
Yeah. Well, it's a bass player.
True. Very true.
I like the scene where he's like, the walls are so thin that he can like hear her like he can hear the actress get into a shower, and he goes like she mentions taking a shower, and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
No, and then he's like, okay.
Yeah, then he puts his ear up to it.
Yeah. He's like listening to her talk.
To listen to her talking about taking a shower.
Yeah, and then he's like
whatever he's
imagining
into.
it. He's like, oh, gross. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
don't know why
really?
you said, oh,
That's
gross. Like, why are you imagining it then? Why is your ear against the wall?
Yeah, I know, you little creep.
Yeah, he's like, gross. It's like, just jack off and never tell anybody.
Yeah,
okay?
dude, you live by yourself. You're
Yeah.
just gonna
Yeah.
not exist in
Yeah,
like,
you're single
3
now.
weeks.
You gotta just do this all the time.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, and then he's like slowly, like as he's gaming and stuff, like he slowly starts to see the chat start to mention like monsters or mention like things about people.
Oh, I've been getting
Nosebleeds.
symptoms. Nosebleeds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nosebleeds. My voice in my head is telling me to kill my family. Oh
Like,
my god.
Honestly, like
And
I
everybody's
don't-
like, that sounds like a gamer to me, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to linger on the nose fountain too much, but it is just like in the manhwa, like, you know, people are like, oh, like casually if someone gets like a nosebleed, like,
Yeah.
oh, what was that about? But imagine if like people just suddenly started pouring blood for your nose, and people
Yeah.
are like, do you think something's up?
Something's up.
Yeah, something going
Like,
to a
something's up.
platform and just saying like, hey guys, little quick question. I've been spewing fountains of blood from my nose
For like
and
5 minutes.
should
just
I
blood.
go to a doctor or am I fine?
Is something up with that, or is it because of is it like the changing of the seasons?
Yeah, and to the the manhwa's credit, I mean, when someone I guess starts turning into a monster like mid typing, and they react like, oh, maybe a cat just crawled across the keyboard.
I mean, that's always the thing. Whenever the writing gets crazy, is like, and then they click send, and they make sure to get the
Exactly.
They put it in caps lock so like they could get it across that they're screaming.
I did like how they were like, killing my family and blah blah. I'm really sick, blah blah. And the guy's like, shut up, you attention seeking bitch. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because that's exactly what people
Oh,
would say.
yeah.
They'd be like, you're making this up, you dumbass. Go back home. Like all the gamers that he talks to are just so negative and such assholes. And it's like, oh, good job.
More slander on the gaming community.
I mean,
Didn't feel like it was accurately depicted, Cody?
It's just another attack on gamers.
oh,
Interesting. After you related so hard to our main character.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are they attacking the community that I live
Right.
in?
The community.
Right.
I do like how he eats ramen every day, though.
Oh yeah, dude, he got a ramen
No, I made
delivery.
I made ramen while I was watching the show.
You've been doing that, dude, and I got to get into that.
Yeah, it adds.
I got to get
so
into
much
eating
to
whatever
it.
they're eating in
Yeah.
the series.
It's
I'm like, it's
really
neat.
fun.
Yeah, I got to do that. I mean, Megan's over here listening to OSTs when she's reading. And
I mean, when I watched Yuru Camp, I mean, I won't get into it. It's Yuru Camp, and they have this like curry ramen, and I was like, curry ramen, what? And then they have it at Daiso, and I was like, fuck yeah! And it was just right when the second season came out,
Yeah.
and I grabbed like 3 and I ate it, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah, curry ramen is my favorite ramen.
it's
For
cup
sure.
of noodle curry.
Oh,
ramen.
I bought like
They're
a
fuck-
shitload of them.
Oh my god,
They're
They have
amazing.
little potatoes. They have real potatoes in the curry ramen.
Oh.
It's fucking phenomenal.
And
You know,
they're a
they
little more
make a-
expensive than a regular cup.
They
of
make
noodles.
a
They
hot
are.
and savory Huel that you can add to
Oh
ramen.
boy,
Okay.
save it for when we get sponsored by Huel
No, they better. And then we're set for food for life.
for life.
Yeah.
For life.
But yeah, he gets a package, like a box of ramen delivered to his house.
That he
which,
just can't bother bringing it in.
Yeah, why didn't he just bring it inside? Well, I mean, I guess he didn't bring it in because it had just got delivered, and somebody was like,
exactly.
oh yeah, you weren't answering, because he's like passed out, and they're like, oh yeah, you weren't answering, so we just left it by the door, and then he goes to get it, and that's when he sees that it's like
the trail. Yeah.
Which, by the way, just in the live action, they include a bit with the security guard is like, someone mentions that like they ordered fish, but it was the wrong fish. Like, do you want it? And it's just a box of rotten fish, and he's like, ugh, and then he gets a massive nosebleed.
Yeah, and then he's
I
like,
bet they're killed in the test screening.
Which is when the first hint for me that like, okay, there's a trigger event similar to Jagan. I'm thinking
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
that causes the nosebleed to happen.
Because, some Jagan-ish style things kind of, sort of, maybe happen where he's, because I think even at this point, he does like, he himself hears a voice.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's unclear really what this voice is
Because he's also
saying.
like dreaming and waking
Yeah.
up, and it's like, was I even awake? You know when you're in that stage of life,
Yes.
where like, was I even awake at all today?
Yeah,
Did I just dream
wow.
about waking up?
Oh Jesus.
I love that I'm able to do that. but I don't love how I'm feeling when I'm doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I was in a stage where I was like, did I even sleep?
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't remember. There's definitely a time gap, but I feel like I wasn't asleep during it.
Oh yeah, dude. And sometimes if you could just kind of coast on that, like, groggy in between sort of fugue state. If you coast on the fugue, that's the best.
Coast in the fugue. That's our band name.
Coast in the fugue, dude. That's when you know you've hit a real low.
Yeah. That's what we call rock and roll bottom.
Rock and roll bottom.
Whoa.
Coast in the fugue.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, baby.
But this is when the story got genuinely creepy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see the trail of ramen to the actress's room, and he's like, she ate all my fucking ramen, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you just know something's up. And then you see just like her apartment, he like looks in there and there's like blood, and then you see the cat collar because she was talking to her cat earlier.
Yeah, it's like, you get to eat all the time, don't you? Not
yeah,
me.
not me. I'm on a diet. I can't
I
eat.
literally have conversations with Monty like that.
Oh.
Like, you fat fuck.
Stop. Don't call him that.
I'm just kidding.
Are you calling yourself that?
No, me, yeah.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's using the cat as a medium.
Yeah, I'm talking through him.
Mm.
Yeah. But I say, like, if I have to, eat a little bit less today, so do you. Because he's fat, dude. I'm sorry.
He's really not. I don't think he's that fat of a cat.
He's getting up there.
And I'm sorry, dude. I just want him to be healthy.
He looks healthy.
Anyway, Cody, what were you going to say?
The creepy moment, when it does become like a horror, is when he like peers into the room and she's like a bloody collar and then like a dangly monster arm.
Yeah, that was a big hand.
Which the drawing of him leaving is just exactly what you think of when someone says nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, he goes like, oh, can you imagine that moment of seeing that in real time? Just like so silent, just crunching. And it's like, okay, you think like maybe a monster got her. Like you don't think that would be her. Like you think she's already dead.
Right.
Or something. And then he crunches the ramen on his foot and just like, oh my God, like how terrifying. And then he just runs like back to his room and closes the door.
Yeah, for me, that wasn't the scary part. That wasn't when it got creepy. Because, and I'm going to say it now, dude, and I'm going to get flack. Who cares?
What?
Yada, yada. I've just like, I'm burnt out on like zombie monster, like,
oh, now you're
type of
Cody.
stories.
No,
No,
this isn't.
I'm just burnt
Now
out.
you're in the Cody Club.
No, I'm just burnt out.
Now you're in the Cody Club.
What makes me in the Cody Club?
This is
Because
more creative than
Cody-
a zombie story.
because Cody what?
Sure.
Wait, hold on.
Cody's
Cody
burnt
what?
out on zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just burnt out a little bit. Yeah.
You know, sometimes it sucks being ahead of the
Never.
curve.
Can never be burnt out.
I mean, I'm not saying I hate zombie movies or zombie stories, but it's just like, I mean,
The
this,
story-
to your credit, like, or to the story's credit, what you said is it does do a lot of different things.
Have you seen the movie Quarantine?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
I'm reminding you of Quarantine?
Not you, the movie to the manhwa.
Oh, okay.
A bit, because they're all stuck in a place.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Let
but
me tell
you don't.
what I love. I love
Sure.
because for me, right? Like what we've seen it, right? We've seen it a million times, right? And I just don't, I don't like the whole like the world where it's another apocalypse and here's everybody slowly finding out about it and slowly finding out. You know what I mean? Like let's get to it. I've seen the setup a million times. What I did like a lot about this though was that she, at least the actress, was able to kind of like go back and forth a little
Yeah,
bit.
that
was scary.
That was the
That was
creepy
cool.
moment.
Yeah.
That I was thinking of.
That was genuinely horrifying.
where like because he just runs back to his apartment and then like it's ringing and she's like, "Oh, can you give me help?" Like
And she's crying.
someone
Yeah.
broke into my apartment. They ate
Yeah.
everything.
Saying all
Like-
the things that you should say, like, oh, where's my cat? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And he's just like, oh, I'm going to call the police for you. Like, I'm not going to open the door. And she's like, please. And then she just keeps going. And then he's like, show me your arms. And she's like, what? And he's like, show me your hands.
That panel beat was probably the peak horror in the story.
Which props
Yeah.
to him, dude, because I feel like almost every other protagonist
They would have
opened the door.
And then, because what I was seeing is like, oh, and that's when he fights it off, and then, and
Yeah.
then he's like, well, now time to fight
because
zombies.
he was going through the same thing that every other character in that situation goes through, where he's like, was I dreaming? Is this real? Is this fake? It can't be real. This isn't reality. But he still had the wherewithal to go like, show me your arm.
I
You know?
love that beat of what?
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. That's what I love.
Huh? What'd you say?
Later on, when they're like, like fighting monsters and stuff, I don't love that, but I love that just sort of that expression, her like not putting on the facade anymore. And
her face is like, and she's like bleeding and like nose bleeding, and then she just gets progressively more scary. And then that's when we hear the bass guitarist again. She's like, and then she's like, and then she hears a noise and then runs after, and the guy's like, fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do anything in this moment. I can't do shit.
Yeah. And then there's an interaction between like the gangster guy who we'll meet more a little bit later.
Mr. Gangster, who he keeps saying he's not a gangster.
Yes.
And then just like one of the roommates is convinced, so she just keeps calling him Mr. Gangster. And he's like, I'm not a gangster.
He's like,
Yeah.
I think, well, in the translation that I read, which I think is the same one that you guys read, like she keeps calling him a mobster. And
Mobster.
he's like,
Mr. Mobster.
Mr.
and he's like,
Mobster.
I'm not a mobster. He's like, I'm more of a good fella or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and she's
Which
like,
I thought-
lame.
Well, which I thought, like, I didn't know if that was like a joke that was supposed to be like, because I thought if it was a joke, like, what a perfect way to translate it. Because if he's like, if that was his way of saying like, I'm a good guy, like, I'm not a bad guy, I'm a good fella. I don't know. I just thought that was.
Oh, I took it
You
as
know?
him trying to be like just playing with his reputation as looking like that. So he just
But
went
doing
like,
both, I think, would have been a fun way to do it, Like, I'm
Yeah.
not a mobster, I'm a good fella. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just thought that would have been
they're
fun.
like probably the most complex line
Yes.
in this manhwa.
Yes.
And I did like that interaction between him and the neighbor who's like convinced, who calls him Mr. Mobster. Where because he's like, oh, they lock they lock the upstairs and I can't smoke, and she's like, you can't smoke. This is why it smells like cigarettes.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing here? She's holding it away, and she like runs away. I'm like, oh, this is Megan.
So
I was like, that's the Megan of this.
it kind of is.
It kind of is.
It kind of was
That-
because I was just like, that was really funny. I like that moment a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, he runs away and says, I will fucking tell on you. She's like, I won't tell you you can smoke here, it's fine. And then in the live adaptation, they do
boy, they did my boy dirty.
They did my boy. I mean, they kind of do him dirty.
Oh, you know about that?
No, I'm just saying. Earlier in the beginning of the episode, you said that they do something with him. They cut a charming bit of his. They like cut out.
No.
Or
Well,
something.
first of all, that Mr. Goodfellow line not in there.
No,
And
it's
this
not
is like,
in there.
do we want to put like a spoiler mark for
I
both series
get-
at this point?
Yeah, because it does change.
I mean,
Those two
I guess.
characters are completely
we barely
different.
even do these anymore, but like, why not?
But I mean, I guess because like at the beginning of the first like volume, I mean, nothing has really happened yet. Like,
No, but in the live adaptation, it's like the characters are different.
okay, if you want.
Do we have any sort of indication?
Spoiler time.
Well, that was terrifying.
That was good. That was
Thank
creepy.
That was
you.
really scary.
Thank you.
So the joke, and like throughout the manga, like she keeps saying like, "Oh, Mr. Mobster."
Manhwa.
Manhwa.
Thank you, Megan.
I'm gonna manhwa. He keeps like, and like he helps him. He's like, "See, I told you, I'm a good guy."
Mhm.
But in the live action, what is different, Megs?
He has a huge face burn, and he's hot
Oh.
still. But
Probably
insanely
hotter, yeah.
he's in his room, right? And he's eating, ramen, and then he's like leaning on something, and he goes like, and then you just hear like muffled like, "Ooh, ooh," and he's like sitting on someone, like someone's tied up. He's beneath him. He's like an actual gangster, and he's like, "Please don't kill me," and he's just like, I'm trying to, and like puts a cigarette out in his mouth. Like he's a real ass gangster in the live action, right? He's actually a mobster.
There
And
was a
then-
cool moment where
Do we-
like the guy's like, "Why are you doing this?" Like, I didn't do anything, and you don't see what, but he pulls his phone out and shows him something, and the guy stops talking, and then he puts a cigarette in his mouth. So you're like, "Oh, so this guy did."
Yeah,
something.
real quick. Do we know for sure though that that's not revealed later on?
We don't, but like then like it at the very least removes the comedic buildup of like him with this reputation.
And I think maybe he just looks like that.
I think
Yeah.
it's a far more interesting character if he's had to deal with that his whole life and he's not a bad guy, but he just looks so much like a bad guy that he's always having to
Ryuji,
deal
a
with
real
that.
Which,
Ryuji
yeah, that's the-
situation.
Yeah, real Ryuji situation.
Like like that, just that little like character moment of a guy who's like treated like a gangster
Yeah.
and he's not gets turned into no, he is.
Yeah.
But it was a compelling thing going on with his character, at least until he sort of just walks around in the live action. At a
well,
certain
what were you
point.
gonna say? You were
and
about
then
to say
the
something.
little girl, right? The sister or whatever. She's like a badass who doesn't go to school. She's like a ballerina.
The
She
most
smokes
badass thing you can
cigarettes.
do.
She's
I mean, I
just
think
like
so.
like in the live action, he goes to the roof at some point. He's like looking down, and she's like, "Hey, don't kill yourself here. You're gonna ruin it for everyone else." And she's like
Yeah.
totally just like a fucking like,
Oh, yeah, there's-
I'm a bad bitch. Like she's just totally were like sweet innocent little sister. Nope. Like
There's like a 3-minute ballet stretching scene with her
Yeah.
in like a schoolgirl outfit where the main character's like staring at her.
yeah.
And you're like, Not needed.
Yeah, not needed.
Not what happened in the manhwa.
Not in the manhwa.
Which is, it reminds me of that little bit of drifting classroom that we saw.
Oh.
Which is like,
oh my God. Who the fuck directed that?
this
And
movie?
that was multiple takes, dude. You know that was multiple takes. We're going to have to do it one more time.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Run it
just
again.
real quick. I mean, just because I think it's so wild, and we're talking about adaptations too, so I'm going to shoehorn it in here. Like, if you haven't seen our Drifting Classroom episode, check that out. It was a great episode. But after we recorded it, we watched a little bit of the live action movie, and when the main character is being an asshole to his mom in the manga, in the live action, he's like grabbing her titties and shit.
He's like feeling her up. He's like, "Oh, mom," and she's like, "Stop
He's
it."
like bullying
Yeah, he's
her.
not being a.
Yeah.
It looked like it's being presented as like, look how like happy they are.
Look how like close
teasing.
they are.
It looks like he's teasing her, he's bullying her, because
But he's just groping her.
he's
Yeah.
groping her. He's like, Mom, woo, 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 like messing with her titties
and this
shit.
kid
Which
isn't
not
like a little
in the
kid.
manga.
This kid's not a little
Never.
kid. He looks at least like he's like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he's doing this shit. And I was like, what?
It was so absurd. But anyway.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
not a spoiler for the manga because it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
It
But
doesn't
yeah, it's a
happen at
pretty
all
crazy
in the
that
manga.
like the change of these two characters already were just pretty drastic. Where I was like, where are they gonna go with this?
I think the character that remained consistent was the mother with the carriage.
Oh yeah, that was a cool. I liked that.
That was creepy too.
I
See,
like
I
that.
like that, dude.
And I like the bassist because she had like a normal, like she had the best reaction,
Mm-hmm.
like the most like, oh, I forgot my wallet. Like
See,
I have,
yeah.
and I'm like, I totally would have done the same fucking
Yeah, dude,
shit.
for me personally, I think what it's boiling down to and what I'm realizing as we're recording
You don't like
this-
it at all.
No, is I like psychological horror. Like monsters.
That's
like,
why The Thing is the greatest horror
it
movie
really
ever made.
is. But like seeing like the hand come out or whatever, I was like, seeing like,
Okay.
the monsters show up. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like that scene with the woman and the baby carriage and then the reveal, I was like, oh my God, that's chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh yeah, that's like a real thing that happens too.
And that's, I think, what's even scarier about it.
Yeah, so the bassist girl, she comes down to go to work or something, and she has her guitar or bass, sorry. And this lady
get it
comes
right.
down the hallway, and she's carrying like a baby in a stroller, and she's like, "Oh, why did you move here? I just moved here 2 weeks ago. Oh, blah blah, small talk, small talk." And then she goes, "Oh, like it's okay. Like she's just a neighbor. Don't worry." And she's talking to the baby, and then she like goes down to talk to the baby, and there's no baby.
That was like genuinely scary because,
yeah.
all of a sudden it took this like very real, rational, normal person into a space where, is she okay? Like, is this like a coping mechanism? Is she dangerous?
Which
like,
a
I don't know.
guy who was standing there the whole time does explain exactly what's going on with
Yeah.
her, which kind of, you're like, oh, like, okay, that's an emotional moment you did kind of
Yeah.
take away. The,
Yeah. The mystery.
Yeah, because the guy's just
Yeah.
like, well, her baby, like, the stroller ran into traffic, which almost happened to me. A hobo pushed my stroller into the way of a bus.
You've been connected with the hobos for quite some time.
Me
since
and the
birth.
hobos have been, yeah.
Kindred
The hobo
spirits.
homies.
Well, they tried to kill me.
The hobo homies.
Hobo homie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you've had a weird connection with
Hobomies.
them.
Yeah.
You got it. I don't know why you
We
kept
agreed
looking
with
for it.
you.
Sorry.
You had to. We said the second.
I
one
was kind of
good.
dozing off. I was like, homies.
Yeah, you were entering a fugue state.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to be here? In the
I'm-
fugue.
Megan, you just woke up.
I'm glad to be here. What can I say? But yeah, that was really cool. And in the live adaptation, I mean, they really play up. Obviously, he says like, "I'm a Christian. I'm going to church right now."
Yeah, I was like,
And-
kill that guy. Just
Oh
kidding.
my
I'm
god!
just kidding.
And in the adaptation, it's like it's really played off very like genuine because he's like, God is gonna show you the way God is always there, and she's like, yeah. She's like trying to be polite, but she's just like, oh.
Yeah. He was more normal in the manhwa than he was in the live act.
I like
In the
that.
live action, he was a little more aggressive. He pressed her a little bit more about it.
like,
Well, yeah, she was just trying to be like, it was a very like real interaction because he's just like, I'm a devout blah blah. She's like, oh, cool. And she's like, okay, let's stop talking to me about that shit.
in
She's
the
like,
manhwa, it felt more of him like being like, oh, you're new here. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
what her deal is. I'm going to church right now.
Yeah, exactly. It did feel a lot like that.
Yeah.
yeah, and in the live adoption, they kept like, it was very much so like he was
And
trying
with,
to.
yeah, and with any religion, dude, don't be pushing it on people like that.
Yeah, she was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I've got to
We
go.
haven't had an ooh yet.
Oh, I mean,
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead.
Ooh.
She's got to go slap the bass, is what I was going to
Slap
say.
the bass.
Which,
gotta
for
go
the
slap it.
record, in the live action, she's a great musician.
It
Yeah.
would have been so funny if in the live action they made her a guitar player.
And you're like, what is your problem?
Yeah, what is her deal?
Yeah, I like
Um,
my hands smell like cigarettes, so I don't want to shake your hand.
Oh, that's a perfect. Or
That's a
hands
perfect
are sweaty.
excuse. I always use it.
Knees
Arms
weak,
are heavy.
There's vomit
on their guitar case already. Bass case.
Yeah, it's bass case.
It's a bass case. They're kind of different because they're built a little wider.
Wow.
I don't know.
Knowledge? Is that real?
I don't know. I just
You just made it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just know that
got
a
it.
bass is like it's just less strings than a guitar.
But
it's 4 to 6.
Yeah, but it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, more. Yeah, it's bass.
I played the bass for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah.
How many years?
Well, like 4 or 5.
Oh.
You know, my roommate just got a guitar, and I forgot. I took guitar lessons. I forgot every bit of learning I did on that.
You should pick it back up. We should start a band.
We should.
Well, we have our
start a
name.
band.
Yeah.
What's the band?
We.
Oh, yeah.
Fugue
The Fugue. I
State.
thought maybe you wanted to pitch a new name, but Fugue, I forgot it.
Oh, it's going. We'll have to watch it.
Yeah, we have to watch it back. It was called,
It was something. It was good
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Now we're finally getting into some monster stuff, though.
because the monster is now going to Base Girl's apartment.
Yeah,
And-
she's going.
This is like crazy. Like I wrote down that moment where she she's like, oh, is it because I'm being too loud? I'll turn it down. And then you go look things like, okay, well now that is clearly an inhuman. It is no longer the case with the guy where he was like, show me your arm. She's just like screaming and has a mutated face. And then she goes to pick up a guitar. She picks up her guitar and holds it like
I love that little touch.
And I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, is that going to be like her theme?
Me
musician?
too.
And then she goes like, what am I doing? She puts it down and picks up a baseball bat. I loved it. I thought that was such a good like moment to like kind of play with like these things. In the live action, she just picks up a baseball bat.
Of course.
And you're like, that you couldn't afford the 2 seconds to have her go to, not just reach at the guitar.
Because that informs who she is, right? And it's such a small thing. They already have the bass. You know, they're already using it to film. Like, why not just have that one moment, that beat, so that you get to know her a little bit better?
Yeah, just that little touch of like, even in a crisis, being like, well, I'm not gonna smash this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it should also be said too before we brush past it or forget that our main character, like, he was caught by the gangster guy when he was coming out of the girls'
switch. And I did like that a lot. I mean, that was what I was talking about with like the when he's like going, he chooses to go outside of his apartment and he uses the broom and he takes it up to Swiffer and he like breaks it and he's walking out. He's like covered in blood and he's like walking out and he's looking at the staircase and he just hears like someone coming up the staircase and it was just like, is it the monster?
I mean, it really was this.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And then it was just a gangster guy and he's like, what are you doing? Like,
super shady situation.
Yeah, because he looks like,
you see,
it looks crazy
from the Mr. Gangster's perspective,
Mobster.
Mr. Mobster's perspective, which is
Mob Psycho.
It's a
Mob
guy
Psycho.
holding a broom and then a trail of blood leading into another person's room,
and to a hot actress, young actress's room,
and
too.
the guy who just moved in.
Yeah,
he's like, have you seen a monster?
Yeah,
he's like, what?
Yeah,
and he gets a little scary there.
He's like, monsters, women. Have you seen her?
Oh.
He's just like an incel.
Yeah.
My ex.
Yeah, you mean my ex?
You mean my
You mean my bitch ex?
my bitch ex-wife?
And then the main character just sort of, which you forget that this guy is the main character after.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
Yeah.
Because he kind of stops being.
Yeah.
Because he just passes out and the guy's like, I didn't even hit him.
Yeah, I didn't even hit you yet.
in the manhwa, does he like go to grab him or something?
No, he literally just is like, I think he's like about to, but then he just topples over and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he falls over and then he wakes up in bed. And he wakes up like 3 days later.
And then
3
they
days
go,
later.
3 days ago. And you're like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I do like an overlapping time thing where like she's walking out to work as he's finally getting like introduced to the main the security guard, and I was like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I always like
you
in
get
stories
a
to see
thing
that.
where like, oh, she walked right by him.
Yeah, I
when he
love
came
that.
out.
Uh-huh.
I love
I
that.
love that.
Lion King 1/2.
Yeah.
I love it.
It becomes Mr.
That's what it is.
Megan is. Well, she's
That's a
becoming a
crazy
pod
thing.
person right now.
It's a crazy face, dude. What do you do? Yeah, it's like so
That's
wild.
like a duck. That was a good one, dude.
Thanks. That's what I call everything that does that. A Lion King 1/2.
Megan loves it.
Yeah, she really does.
I like it.
And then it's like the story then becomes Mr. Mobster and the bassist like figuring out the mystery now because like, oh, that guy just passed out.
And I love that. I love that when he's like, I mean, the lady did a number on her door. It's like completely jammed in, and then he just punches it once, and he's like, yeah, no human could do that. I could barely do that.
Yeah.
So she was jamming it.
You also have a trail of blood leading towards a broken window on like a
Yeah.
3-story building.
Yeah, she's like, you don't think she jumped, did you? It's like, I mean, she was awesome.
I did like the inquisitiveness of Mr. Mobster because he is like, that guy just mentioned a monster. It's like, oh, but then there's like he's like doing all the problem solving.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I also thought that it was nice to see the other characters that we got to see once the actual like the incident of the first volume happens when they make it down and they realize that everything's locked, that they're locked in, which I also loved. There was a lot of things I loved. I guess what I'm just trying to say is that like the whole zombie thing or like, you know, the apocalypse thing, I was like, I've seen it before. But there were so many other new things. It's like kind of like I guess like a bottle episode or whatever, where you get to see these characters in this one setting and you get to see them sort of devolve, you know, or descend into madness. And I really do love that. They're trapped in. There's this like sweaty, you know, asshole guy who is trying to figure out like how to get everything open because
That guy gotta get to work.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's always that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, you're like, dude, take the excuse.
Yeah,
Dude,
we're locked in.
The apartment complex I live in, I pray that the gate won't open every day. So I can just call them, like, the gate won't open. And they're like, can't you just get out a different way?
Can't you climb the gate?
No.
I'm like, no, I can't.
You want my car to
can't.
climb the gate?
You
Yeah,
want me
how's
to
that gonna
really
happen?
climb the gate?
But yeah, he really loves his job
Yeah.
and
he
wants to
can.
go.
And then you're introduced to the coolest guy, the
Why?
glasses guy.
Oh.
He was kind of forgettable.
No, it's kind of the highlight of the series. Really,
Ah.
the hero of it, I think.
Yeah, he really stepped up.
Are you
Yeah.
sure we read the same thing?
We definitely did.
Because I don't remember a glasses guy. I remember a guy.
Oh no, it was the guy with the cool glasses.
Oh, that guy ruled.
Yeah, that guy
dude.
was cool.
That guy was awesome. And the fire extinguisher and the monsters.
Yeah.
That dude was amazing.
Yeah.
Why did you connect with that guy? Your glasses look way different.
This is honestly like every time they just like, you know, like every like anime they love giving them the like the glasses glare.
Yeah.
But you only do it for a second. And I like how they were just like, no, the whole time
The
he
whole
has
time.
it.
Sick.
Like and like as someone with glasses, you are like, oh, I could only wish
Right.
I could only
They
wish
sell
that I
glasses
got
like
that
that.
effect. That like reflect white.
Yeah, all the time. They're like they're a gimmick. They're not real. They're
Yeah,
You're a
like,
gimmick.
no, they are. They're sold as like anime glasses.
If there was like a one-way tint that was just pure white, I would get those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I could go like,
Actually, according to my calculations.
did you
Yeah, all
want
the time.
mild or hot sauce? Mild.
Yeah, I don't like that double hand thing. I like this
Yeah.
thing.
Well, you have to switch it up or you'll get too many oils. You don't know about glasses.
I don't.
Too many oils.
Don't want to know.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude. He the guy who wants to go to work so bad, he goes into like the office or the security office and he's like switching the breaker on so that the gate will open. And I think it's like at the same time too,
Very Five Nights at Freddy's rules, which is
Oh yeah.
you need the power like
Yeah.
on for the gate to stay closed.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I found it. And then in this time, they're just, kind of, the glasses guy breaks it with the fire extinguisher.
Which
and that was cool.
He had a nice, his identity was not glasses guy, by the way.
Yeah.
He was like the bold one who was like laughing and
sure.
but like he also got like a little shift, which is like we were like, look, I did it, and people were like, what'd you do? He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. When the guy tried to confront him about it, yeah, he immediately kind of shut down.
In the live action, he is a glasses guy through and through. He's just the nerdy one who's reading. I'm like,
That's a bummer, dude.
He didn't even give him the right shape of glasses.
Mhm.
He has square glasses in the manhwa, and then in the live action, it's like those like octagon, hexagon glasses.
Oh,
and you're
get
like,
the fuck out of here.
you're like, you made it more something. They didn't give him like fluffy, spiky hair.
And again,
not
like,
even like the same outfit. You're like,
his sister and him are just like their relationship is like not like it is in the manhwa where it's like a doting brother and sister relationship, like he's gonna defend her. They're just like she's such an asshole to him in the show.
it's just more hostile.
Yeah, it's super hostile.
For what?
For what? I don't know.
They're like, well, we got to make sure
They couldn't
we
get
change it.
they couldn't get a kid actor or something probably.
That doesn't make sense. They could just make the actor that they did get. They could just write her lines a
That's
little
true,
different.
and make
Yeah.
her nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. But he
Unless that actress was contractually obligated to be a bitch. She's
Oh.
like, it's my thing.
It's my thing. It's my character. It's how I shine.
I get typecast as that, and I like it.
I like it. And then I love that moment when they're all just like, "Oh, get the door open, get the door open." And they're like, "What is that?" It's just this like really nasty like looking monster guy, and they're like, close it.
Close the gate.
Close the gate.
Yeah,
You can close the gate. You can close the gate. You close the gate. Hey, close the gate.
I love that these monsters, they're not zombies. Like I said zombie earlier, but it's just like they are undead or whatever, and they're like can infect you. But
they're like alien-like.
I don't even know if they can infect you.
Cool.
No,
well, how are they getting? Oh, the nosebleed thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
something's in the air.
Yeah,
something's in the air.
Yeah, because I don't think that if you they don't show at least anyone who like is a victim turn into one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's always like, oh man, what was that? A nosebleed.
Yeah.
Did I just lose a gallon of blood out of my nose? That was weird.
Yeah.
Time to game.
Yeah, time to get back to gaming. They updated this game with a cool macro to keep my character moving around so I don't have to log in for days. Like, what a weird detail to add in there. That's how he was like discovering that, or like that
People
was like
weren't
a red flag that like people weren't like gaming.
Yeah. What's going on?
They've been in the same spot for 3 days.
And I thought it was something involving the juice, the security guard.
I thought so too. That's funny you say
you
that.
You only see it being given to the actress in a flashback.
Yes.
And the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, oh, is it like some drink caused it? Like, oh, this specific drink causes people to turn into monsters, but I do not believe that it's infection based.
And in the live adaptation, you see some like different types of monsters, and I'm like, what's going on here? They seem more alien-like than anything
Well, yeah,
else.
in the trailer, I mean, it could have been a spoiler for the rest of the series or whatever, but in the Netflix trailer, they show so many different kinds of monsters. Like they show, one of them is a giant. Like one of them is huge.
Yeah, they're very video game zombies where it's like, oh, that's the bruiser.
Resident
and
Evil
you have
type.
to let them
Resident
charge
Evil.
at you and dodge at the last second.
Maybe
Yeah.
little Gantz. Maybe
Gantz a little bit more.
Gantz?
Onion Boy.
Maybe a little onion boy. Yeah.
People get claws.
I miss him.
What happened to Onion
I
Boy?
know.
I miss him, dude.
No, that was a tragic.
That was a
happened to him.
tragedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like that moment of like, oh fuck, like don't open it. And he's like, what did I say? I told you to close it.
And Glasses guy starts warding it off with a fire extinguisher, which is cool. After
he already kills someone.
After it like drains someone dry.
You know, it's like
Sucks him dry.
Sucks him dry.
Yeah.
And Megan, how do they feel they're going to enhance that scene in the live action?
Someone getting sucked dry?
No. The epic fire extinguisher showdown where he's like spraying it with
to back him up, and then the gangster guy tackles him through, and then he slides back under the last minute.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, Cody? I've already said drop some bombs.
Well, the beauty of physical medium is you get to have they get to have music in it, like a soundtrack. So they pick Imagine Dragons Warriors.
Which can you sing a little bit of that?
I cannot. Megs, can you help me out here? I'll sing it with
how
you.
How does it? I forgot how it
goes. You would wait and wash the world away.
Okay,
but you always knew.
I think I got it.
Never here we are. Born to be king. That's a different song, but
that does not sound like this. But they do play Imagine Dragons.
But it doesn't fit at all?
No.
But honestly, they include an instrumental part of it later, which does fit more.
It's very
but
odd,
they
though.
include the lyrics, which you're like, honestly, every time it's the same vibe for me when an action movie plays like an old 90s like metal song. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. I don't know, I enjoy it, but you are like, wow.
Wow.
What a choice you have made.
I always enjoy it, dude. Even
The
like that's like
choices
people make fun of Zack Snyder all the time or call him out all the time for his like music choice and how it's so jarring. And I get that, like, yeah, sometimes it could take you out of the scene a little bit, but a lot of the times for me, I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, I love it, dude. Even if it doesn't fit, like, I'm always, I don't know.
I think if any director is in doubt, just go with Icky Thump.
Icky Thump was a classic.
That's you're just holding the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, like, that fits. It fits in maybe everything.
Yeah, in the live action, they change it to where the gangster doesn't tackle the other girl.
There's a woman who's like a firefighter that they introduce
I guess
randomly.
it's a new character.
Yeah, it's a new character in the adaptation, or maybe we see her later on, but it's a very odd choice.
I was honestly like starting to get like mad because I'm like, I love the gangster guy.
I loved him too. He was one of the best parts of it.
So far, I have now lost his cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the heck are they doing? But he gets like, He gets they give him another moment later on. That I'm like, that honestly made up for it.
See, I only watched maybe like not even half of the second episode. So, because I didn't know if it was gonna spoil things for me. I mean, I
think
did read a little
like
more.
one chapter past it.
But yeah, I mean, it was just I don't know.
Well, that scene in the manhwa I think was really fun. It was really cool. I mean, it was done really well. I mean, I think the monsters ended up looking awesome. The one that we saw looked really cool, and then it's revealed that there are a lot more.
Yeah, like the person like that. You see the gangster being like, but he mentioned that the monster was a girl.
Yeah.
Guys, I think there's more than one. They go, we do too. And they just look outside. There's just like 10 monsters out there.
And then our main character wakes up. The world's on fire. He realizes that he's been asleep for 3 days. My world's always on fire.
That's how I like it, and I never get bored.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
You do know.
I don't.
You'll never know if you don't go.
I do know that one. Is that the same song?
Yes.
Yeah. I just know. I mean, I know like the most popular lyric, but I don't know what these obscure. These obscure
We're just
lyrics.
singing the song.
So, what part of the song are you singing? Not
the beginning.
chorus?
The beginning.
Sing it or say it again. Say it again.
My world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it. I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star.
I know that part.
Get your game on. So you know choruses of songs.
Sure.
Okay.
Verses are
Chorus
just like
boy.
verses.
Chorus boy.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Oh, chorus boy.
I don't hate it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Call me choir boy while you're at it, because you're
How about
preaching
crier
to
boy?
the
Oh.
Oh no.
How about crier boy?
He just said that.
Oh.
Yeah, who doesn't pay attention now, huh?
This is good.
Oh my god.
Crier boy.
Oh my god. But yeah, he wakes up, he realizes it's been 3 days, and this is where it got really interesting, and I think it's kind of the cliffhanger that we end the volume on, which volumes I guess would be harder to separate or tell when one starts and one ends, because they are just meant to be read digitally online. But the 10th chapter is that he wakes up in this thing inside of him,
which looks like a tumor.
It looks like a tumor, and I assumed obviously to be the reason or the cause for the nosebleeds and everything. Is like sentient and like talking to him and like covered in eyes.
Kind of like Guts Jr. moment.
A little like Guts Jr.
It was
says
like
like, I can give you what you want.
Yeah.
And it like just sort of ends on that, which like great cliffhanger. Left out of the live action. What? It does not talk.
But I mean, this thing tells him like whatever you want to be. You want to be a hero, you want to be whatever, you want to be this, you want to be that, whatever you want to be, just tell me and I can give that to you. I can make that happen. And in the trailer for the live action, it does look like he ends up getting some abilities or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very vague.
In the prologue, that's why in the live action prologue, they just show that like, because they give it one more moment. Is it a spoiler to talk about the prologue of the
No, literally, I saw what they were doing and I skipped it.
Because
I knew exactly why. I was like, fucking dumb.
Stop showing the scene.
Yeah, literally stop.
But they keep going.
No.
Yeah, like, should we talk?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, don't.
It's actually
it's a huge spoiler.
Actually, if you're reading the manga,
Manhwa.
Skip the prologue of the series because it spoils the ending.
Skip to like
it spoils like a twist. I know a twist happened.
Skip to like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
when you start watching the Netflix adaptation.
Why would they do that?
I don't know because they're dumb.
They went with the you know how like we talk about like how like movie scripts have to be different.
Yeah.
And they have to include like a hook at the beginning. They chose to go with like the end of the story. And you know, a lot of stories do that, but what they do is they cut off. So you're like, oh, what's going to happen? But they just kept going on, and then one thing happens, and you're like, okay, and then it keeps going on. You're like, well, now I know what's up with them.
That's so dumb.
Yeah. I just want to say, right? I think it's. I don't know if I read them, but I don't know. Because I remember reading something in chapter 10, or I might have read 11. I don't know. I don't want to give it away. But there's like a moment that like really like it brings it back up with the main character. And
well, if it's only in chapter potentially 11, then just say it.
Chapter 11, like, what are we going bankrupt?
He like opens his door. He opens his door because he wakes up right after 3 days.
Oh, that's in volume 1.
That's in volume 1, right?
Oh,
do you remember it?
Say it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know,
I have no idea what you're going to say.
He
now Josh.
No,
is
I
in the
read
hot
it. I
seat.
just I'm telling you, I was reading it. I mean,
Okay,
it was
okay.
like a
So yeah,
constant
he
scroll.
opens up because he sees on his computer like,
I forgot that.
monstrification.
Yeah, that was the excellent cliffhanger.
Yeah, he's like monstrification, like nosebleeds, and it's just like Google searches and stuff. And he's like, whoa.
I thought he got like an email telling him like these are the.
No, I thought it was just like Google. You know how you could like Google search like what's the most searched
Yeah, it was
thing
like the
right
most.
now?
Yeah, it was like trending.
Yeah, trending.
Yeah.
And then he opens his door because he's like, oh, I need to eat. Like I'm fucking hungry. And he opens his door and there's like a half.
Oh yeah.
Slain
Half-face
fucking
vampire.
half-face
that's right.
monster, and then they're sensitive to sound, so he just opens it and then he's like, oh, and then he like completely like fucking tackles his bed because he thinks he's in there, and it's like it was awesome.
I can't see.
Yeah,
and the
I
creepy
hate how they
part
can talk.
was it walks into the room and then closes the door.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Creatures of habit.
And him like having to stay in the bathroom, and like the monster caught him because he was like trying to pee on the side of the bowl. Which, let's be real, like I mean, even if there's no monsters, like it's just common courtesy, dude, to pee on the side of the bowl.
I mean, I don't know how.
Where my side bowl's
pees at?
My side
If you
pee's
do it
at.
right, because I don't know, sometimes you get splashback and it's like.
Splashback.
Well, I'm talking about when you're not in a urinal, when you're doing it in the bowl.
Oh, I get splashbacks in bowls.
Well, because you're shorter than me, so you're lower, closer to the toilet.
No, that's not why.
I'm way up here.
No, it is shorter to the ground, but it's not because I'm shorter than you.
Oh, I mean that is real.
I mean,
Why are you trying to deny that?
I know what you're
real.
trying to do.
We're the AT&T bars.
But how are you stopping it from happening?
Because even if my penis was incredibly short, which is what you're trying to insinuate, I would still get splashback. It just wouldn't be on my penis. It'd be on my leg or something, you know?
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know either.
I'm just saying, yeah, I thought it was funny that way. He was like, you know, because sometimes you're trying to be quiet and you don't want to pee directly into the water. And then he like fell asleep peeing or something, or started dozing off, and then it went a little bit into the water.
And then he's like,
that's how he got caught. Yeah.
Now, if we want to talk about theories,
I want to say real quick though, speaking of like peeing in bowls, yeah.
Oh.
And like you accusing me of having a very tiny penis. I used to think as a kid, I think we've maybe even said this in another episode, but I want to reach out to you and see if you relate to this at all. I used to genuinely believe that and I for sure have said this in an episode, but whatever, that the louder the pee hitting the bowl was, the bigger the penis. I used to believe that. So I used to like, when I was a kid, I used to try to really hard to pee like so loud.
It's insane the length.
yes.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
That boys
doctor
will
said,
go to be like, I have a bigger one. Like, what is
No, it's not
it?
about having a bigger one.
What is it about?
The peeing artist.
It's about being an artist.
I will. There is a. I think I've talked about that. Like my way of like asserting dominance in public bathrooms is like, you know, like two people you're with like next to someone else at a urinal, and you have like those nerves and you can't quite pee.
Yeah.
When I like pee like right off the bat and they're still trying to, I do feel like I'm like.
See,
I've like asserted some amount of dominance over that person.
I understand that. I have never felt it, but I understand it. But what I think it is, it's not about like oh, I want mine's bigger or whatever. This is the fucking Occam's razor of like being a man or like having a penis, the Schrodinger's penis, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're told as a child that like, you know, your masculinity or your whatever manhood is tied to size, right? But you never see anybody else's, right? So you have no frame of reference for like years. You're like, I don't know if this is big. I don't know if it's small. So you assume small, because if you assume big and you're wrong, then that's far more embarrassing. And so what I encourage everybody to do is just look at as many penises as you can.
Well, that therein lies the difficulty is like who's gonna post pictures of their penis. People who are like confident.
That's another thing, right? Because then you have porn as a reference, right?
Yeah,
And
it's like, that's not fair at all.
Yeah.
We're like, damn.
Yeah. So if your friends give you consent and they're willing to, you know, show you themselves, just let them.
Okay.
And then you might be a little bit more like at peace.
And on
At
that note,
penis.
you
Yes.
might be at penis.
Yes. Go ahead, Cody. Sorry, you were.
Theories.
Yes.
For this story. Is,
I'm glad we got that out.
So you're like, okay, so a tumor is happening in their brains that causes a nosebleed. That's like offering them like some sort of deal for power. And then what did we see in the beginning? The guy fell asleep after having a nosebleed, hit the car. What does he do after getting his nosebleed? He passes out for 2 days. So I think most people enter a metamorphosis and they indulge in whatever deal I want maybe that bat demon was I want to be able to hear again or something. I want to have better senses. And he got turned into that.
So potentially you're saying that it probably should have already happened to him.
Or it's going to be that thing. There was a movie called The Crazies or something.
Crazies.
The Crazies.
Don't remember. Yeah.
Spoilers for that movie if you care. But it's a rage virus type story where but it's whatever obsession you have is what you get walked into. So they're oh I want to make sure we keep this area clean. So a janitor would start being obsessed with that. But one of the people that gets infected is obsessed with protecting the group. So while he's infected though, it turns his desire it can only turn your desire into something. So it ends up being he's able to hold on to it and he does start transforming, but it's still focused on protecting them.
Cool.
So I think that the protagonist's desire, which let's remember he is suicidal, will come into play.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of it too. I think, maybe it could be when you said deals, it got me thinking that maybe they're offering them whatever they want and then they're giving them that in some sort of dream world that they're not aware is a dream world. And the deal is I get your body. You get whatever you want, but I get your body. And then they're turning them into these things or whatever. But maybe in there, it could be one of those horror things where they're seeing, I don't know. They're walking around seeing everything differently.
Well, in the group chat that he was on, don't they mention them having dreams about killing their family?
Yeah.
And then what is this guy having in the apartment? Multiple dreams. He's going in and out of dreams.
Yeah.
So
I
just goes to show you, don't have dreams.
Yeah, don't have dreams. I really did like it. I thought it was I was so excited, I think, maybe too excited to read, my first manhwa. And it was a different experience. I can't judge them as a medium because I've only read one, but it was a completely different experience.
How about you judge him as a psychic?
I see what he did there. I think that, it was a good story. I didn't I don't know. I wasn't blown away by it. There are other series that I think I'd maybe be a little more excited to check out. Solo leveling seems to be something that everybody's going crazy about. And just
call them the craziest.
Oh, the movie.
That's what yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I mean, I'm a sucker for zombies or viruses and stuff. So
I'm over it, dude. After the whole virus thing that we've been going through for a year and a half, it's I don't.
I think that every zombie story is pretty badly written because they always have to pretend that things just wouldn't happen. Us having drones and stuff, they can the whole thing of that's why usually I had a whole thing on, but how usually zombie stories have a time skip, so they can just be it happened. I'm okay with it as long as they're not zombies and they are monsters.
Yeah, I totally get that too. Which is why we've talked about how The Walking Dead became its own thing that I think both of us, all three of us, you watched The Walking Dead, right? Did you ever read it?
I have I think I have the hard. Sorry, I have the hard copies of it. I read a little bit of it.
Okay, see, that's what you should have said.
I'm sorry. I was trying to think of what volumes I had or issues I had.
I also thought it would have been funny if you were just thinking really hard about how many you had and go yeah, but I haven't read them.
But yeah,
but I like how they skip
a
right
perfect
to it,
example is though they do a time skip and he just wakes up and the zombie apocalypse is happening. Where 5 people were able to fight off zombies, then you're well, what about all the military that we had?
Gone.
That's gone. But a guy with an axe, he can survive.
But yeah. But your point though, it's they don't because they can't really write a way out of it, so they're just it just happened.
Yeah, which deeply upsets me because I just don't like that. But people are okay with that of just saying
then you won't have any zombies if they get all killed.
Or you can write it in a way that it would make sense. But because people are just okay with just saying no, it just happened. Now no one feels the need to explain how it happened. No one feels the need to write a universe where these things would actually exist.
You guys are just no fun.
That's besides the point.
No, he for sure is no fun. But also, I thought that aspects of the story were really cool. But I just think for me, yeah, like the virus thing, like the monster thing, it's just like, I like a psychological horror thriller. And if you are going to be like, maybe have monsters and all this craziness happen, then like, I don't know, I would have liked to be more connected to the characters, I think. What this felt like to me a lot too was like watching a movie versus reading a comic or reading a manga or a book even, because I got so much less internal dialogue from our main character than I usually feel like I do. So I felt like I was just watching him instead of...
Well, he's a man of action.
Which I like,
Okay.
though.
All right, clip that up.
I did. It was really like I had to keep reading it because I felt like I was watching something. I was like, okay, I got back on it. Like it was very, very entertaining to me, and it does have like 12 volumes, so
Yeah,
still kind of a lot.
And it's just as a thing that upsets me. It's like everyone dresses like normally, and then they just don't have them dress like that in the live action. You're like, was it impossible?
Yeah.
To get a shirt that looked like that? They're like, well, let's give them a plaid in the adaptation. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's the art department's fault, dude. We got to send them an angry letter.
Oh, they'll be hearing from me.
It was weird because sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was weird because I saw comments of being sorry. I was like, I saw.
I mean, that was just a you thought.
That was all you.
That was all you.
I saw comments about people saying like, oh, like it was really good adaptation. And then I didn't really see a lot that were like having issues with it, which was interesting because there was kind of a lot of issues just in the first episode.
I mean, everything that stuck out to me, they just didn't do.
The trailer reaction was like pretty well received. I think that on the video that I watched, everybody in the comments was just saying like, this is based off a webtoon. Does anybody know this is based off a webtoon? Like, damn, where are my webtoon? There was just people excited.
Where are my webtoons at?
For real. I mean, would you recommend this though? Would you recommend this? Would you recommend even the live action? Would you keep watching Cody? You finished it? Or no?
What?
You didn't finish the live action, right?
No.
Would you continue it, either one of you?
I thought the manhwa was compelling. I liked the hook at the end with like, oh, something's going on with him. And he hasn't turned into a monster.
I know, it feels like the beginning.
So something's going on. And I do like the live action, but I am like, I have to read the manhwa if I'm going to watch this, so I know what was like really
intended,
was supposed to happen. So
because I need to know what they changed and what they because it's not a very
faithful adaptation.
Faithful adaptation. So I would definitely have to.
That prologue is kind of like,
I just want to watch that part now.
No.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can take note in your head of every time you would be like, and stop.
I'm gonna do it.
Stop
it
now.
Yeah.
Now. Please, you can't keep going.
I'm gonna watch it. I have to.
Oh, each episode is like 50 minutes, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's like 40. It's like 14 episodes.
I mean, for me, I did like it. I do feel like it's just starting. 10 chapters in, I feel like all the characters are finally starting to get aware of become aware of the situation. There's that really cool mystery with the main character. I want to see what that turns out to be. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I probably, will maybe watch an episode just to see what you guys are talking about in the live action. And I might continue just because of how fast I could read it. I'm a slow reader and I blew through that.
Just for the Mr. Gangster's, Mr. Mobster's scene, like, so in the manhwa, he's the one that tackles it. Someone else does. His moment in the live action is he like just takes on one of the monsters like in a fist fight, and it's honestly like pretty cool. Like the way he like fights it, you're like, this guy rules.
Hell yeah, dude! I love that guy, but I think that
wait till you see the actor.
Oh really?
It's like,
damn, Cody's
redeemed.
like
he's been
this.
I've done it
He's
before.
a little thirsty.
Yeah, he's a little thirsty.
I've talked like this before.
I think because he has big shoes to fill. That's all I'm saying. That actor, and you're saying he fills them.
You're gonna be.
He
You're
fills
gonna be
them
like,
up, dude.
honestly, like
up.
they put someone in charge of adapting like the scenes, and they put someone in charge of casting that guy, and that was just the genius of the crew.
Yeah.
Genius.
Final thoughts, you guys. I think I've said kind of how I felt about it. Do you want to add anything else? Do you want to let the people know anything else about this series, and or really just I guess anything about like how your first experience with a manhwa was? Like this was your manhwa virginity, Cody, not yours, but This was both of ours. We lost ours together.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference to me where they're made or anything. So,
I mean, to me, it was really interesting though to see a different, like, it was in a different.
Yeah, reading right to left. It was like
that was hard to get used to.
it was like, oh.
I mean, I guess it's cool that it's a combination of mangas and comic books.
It does feel like a hybrid of the two in a lot of ways.
But it's also like, well, I've only read one, so I don't know what they're like.
Killing Stalking next.
So
I mean,
we have to do solo leveling.
Yeah, I know we have to. But if you have any other manhwa recommendations, like we've opened the floodgates, and I would be more than willing to read some more.
Hell
If
yeah,
there's any
dude.
good like Bastard, I would love to read.
Bastard.
Solo leveling. There's so many.
And maybe we'll even squeeze a light novel in there too. That'd be nice. Well, that's it. That's our review of Sweet Home, our first manhwa on the channel. Thank you guys for recommending it to us. Thank you guys for, insisting that we do one because it was a lot of fun and it was a really cool experience. Check it out. Let us know what you think of Sweet Home. Watch the Netflix show. Let us know if you've seen it. Let us know if you agree with what Cody and Megan were saying about the differences. And if you do decide to read it based on this, then let us know what you thought.
If you watch the live action and you never, you're like, oh, I don't need to read the thing, you do.
Yeah. You should definitely, and then skip the first 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you already watched it, and there's no going back. So
The only thing we got to do before we get to our outro that's always the same and never changes is get to our other amazing segment, the Water Circle, where we read comments that you've left on previous videos. Volume 1 Chun reads them to us and we respond to them. So if you would like your comment read out loud in a future video, all you got to do is leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. But with all that said, I'm excited. I really want to hear what some of the comments are today. Volume 1 Chun, will you start us off with the first one, please?
This one comes from Aaron Dev. Also, people that drink strawberry milk are absolute psychopaths. It's one of the most disgusting things invented by man and served to children.
So is chocolate milk.
No, it's not. You're out of your mind, dude. Chocolate milk is a cultural phenomenon, dude. Everybody drinks chocolate milk. You know who drinks strawberry milk? Privileged kids.
The hell are you talking about? They're the same price.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
No, but there's something bougier about strawberry.
I don't think
chocolate is much rarer of a resource.
No, it's
strawberry milk is a
nothing
good...
to back that up, but no, it's not.
Chocolate milk is just, it's a standard. It's basic. Chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. Why don't mix it up a little bit? Get some strawberry in there. Like, just try it for once in your life. Sorry,
chocolate to be in everything.
Yes.
I don't want chocolate to be in everything either. That's why you can also drink regular milk.
Strawberry milk is just...
Yeah, and cereal. And you know that regular milk gives me explosive diarrhea. I drink almond milk.
Oh, yeah. You drink...
I would love chocolate almond milk. And don't make the face about almond milk.
I don't like
milk
almond
is the far
milk.
superior of the milks.
I like
vanilla
milk.
almond milk.
Absolutely, Cody.
Oh, no, worse.
Now you're talking some sense.
I can't have almond milk in cereal. It's just not a go.
Because
not almond
milk.
milk.
Weird almond
Oat
milk.
Oat
Oat
milk,
milk's
no.
good.
You're going to eat a cereal made from oats, and then you're going to be like, but oat milk. That's disgusting.
Exactly. You're going to eat oatmeal, put some oat milk in it instead of water if it's instant.
Now you're just eating meal and milk.
I like regular
You
milk.
like almond milk, dude. I swear to God.
You're
probably getting sugar-free almond milk.
Wait, have
or
you
something.
had oat milk?
Yes.
No, she hasn't. I saw it by that face.
Yes,
Be
I have. Of
100%
course I
honest.
have. I've had it in coffee.
You swear on your life?
Yes.
Have you drink?
Yeah.
No, I have.
You drink?
I just don't. I'm not. Oh, give me a glass of oat milk. Like that's not what I'm doing.
No one.
And when
does
did this
milk.
become an attack on me, bitches?
You're right, dude. You were the one pushing strawberry this whole time.
I like
dude.
strawberry milk.
It's refreshing.
This is against him.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
It's a refreshing drink. Like,
refreshing for who?
I
dude?
like it. It's sweet and like if you have like the powdered strawberry milk. Oh, it's good.
Let me ask you this: what did people eat for as a delightful dessert in days past?
Berries.
Berries with cream. So, strawberry
Berries
milk.
and cream.
Berries and cream.
I'm a little lad who loves berries
Yeah,
and
yeah,
cream.
You're comparing berries and cream to artificial strawberry flavor.
Okay, I have news for you. That's not real chocolate.
I never said it was. But I also never said, you know what people also used to eat? Cocoa beans. And,
Well, they didn't.
Yes, they did, dude.
You used to
He ate
eat them?
cocoa leaves.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
You used to smoke cocoa.
We used to.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
White lines, vision, dreams of passion.
All I'm saying, dude, is that chocolate milk is a staple. It's a staple.
For you in your diet.
No,
It's
I
a
wish.
staple.
It is a staple.
It's a staple.
If we took a survey,
Obviously,
we're not
chocolate milk
sa-
would win.
Yes,
we're not.
not
Also, we
saying
like
that.
chocolate.
Yes,
Everyone
yeah,
loves
you
chocolate
fucker.
milk.
okay.
But to say that like
Relax.
strawberry milk is
Yeah,
like
you motherfucker.
Yeah, you went crazy.
Honestly, I do like strawberry milk.
Sure, from time to
Nesquik
time.
From time to
strawberry
time, it's all
milk.
we're saying. It's all
of
we're
course,
saying.
like that applies to chocolate milk too.
Oh
Yeah.
no, but see, that's where
Oh,
you lose me.
no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
I love chocolate milk. I would drink it every day if I didn't get explosive diarrhea.
We would all be drinking milk every day if it didn't give us explosive diarrhea.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Anyway, it got a little heated, but thank you, Aaron, for defending me, coming to my honor, and being a sane and rational human being. Volume One, Chan.
Oh, wow.
Can you please hit us
Always
with
gotta
the
get the last word.
next comment, please?
This one comes from Lui Han Kyo. Cody, please just fucking drop One Piece. It's a pain having to fast forward whenever you talk. Fuck off, Cody, you suck.
Oh,
Very well put.
Wow.
Which, going on that, I'm surprised by how quickly it takes to develop a callus to comments like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you went through about maybe a month.
Yeah, of being like, oh, this really hurts, and now I like wake up. Which, by the way, if you swear, like, we don't remove comments, but YouTube will automatically flag those.
Yeah.
I'll go through and approve comments like that.
Yeah.
So if you appreciate that I saw that when like, all right, you got to be on there. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't like, we don't remove them.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Cody, you're just being true to yourself.
Yeah.
dude.
It's funny because like literally every mean comment that you get under is a reply of how they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a mean comment. Like it'll be up for a couple hours and then someone will be like, shut the fuck up. Like it's just how it goes. So that's what's even more funny.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and who really gives a fuck, man? And I'm so glad you're on the other side of this, dude, because now, like, you gotta lean into it now.
Oh, I told you guys, every comment I put more and more Joker makeup on. And now the clowns have been sent.
Yes, dude.
And ha 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 ha.
Because
Oh.
now, you know, because you're kind of like free, right? Like there's this period of time where you're like, because I made a video on a separate channel a long time ago, and it was the most watched video I had ever made at the time. And the like to dislike ratio, insane. I mean, I think the video is even still up, but it's like got like somewhere around the margin of like, it's got maybe 1,000 downvotes and it's got like 20 upvotes or something. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
And every day I thought about taking that video down. Every day I would
say
check.
you should.
No, it's a great video.
Yeah, what is it about? It's
a great video.
Is it one of your political rants?
Yeah, one of your
I got a little
political
political.
rants.
No, but it also like the comments like stung, and like I would log in and like get like hurt. I was like a little bit of a masochist. I would log in and be like, ooh, it still hurts, you know? And then one day it didn't hurt anymore. And it took me a long time though for it to stop hurting. And you seem to have like expedited that process.
Yeah, it went from, oh, that does not feel good at all, to now it's like, what the hell? What do you even? I better find out that Luffy is the most complicated character in the history of manga. I better find out that like the scenes he gets are the most well-written emotional storylines I have ever read.
This better
turn out to be like, oh, once you get to this part, you will see the most
That's so
complicated,
funny.
emotional, in-depth story of all time, just based off how people will get so passionately mad.
Yeah. But I think, you know, at the heart of it really is just people that just don't have the same opinion they do, and they don't like that,
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah.
which is dumb.
And that you're unapologetically Cody.
Yeah, which is also dumb.
Which is the name of my spec. Oh, hey.
No,
What the hell?
No, it's dumb that you can't be that. And it's dumb that people care that you are.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were making a joke.
No, I love Cody.
I think you.
I think
No,
he like
I think he might be.
I think he
no.
might be. I think he
No.
might be making joke about
We
me.
all love Cody here. Everybody loves Cody here. And if we ever see, we got facial recognition software, and if we ever see those people in the streets, you'll get a talking.
You'll
Your
get-
ass is done.
You'll get us avoiding eye contact.
Don't
Volume
need
1, Sean,
your
bring us home
opinion.
with the final comment, please.
This one comes from Noe Valoba. Hi, are you going to continue doing these reviews now that Volume 6 is out? I'd love to see what you guys think of Volume 5 and 6. Smiley face.
Oh boy, do we have news for you.
This is about Spy X Family, by the way. Go ahead.
He kind of blew that.
All the momentum.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, we've mentioned it before, but we have discovered that, in-depth reviews are a popular thing, so we can't not do those. But we do want to cover all those things like newer series like Spy X Family. So what are we going to do? Are we going to try to are we going to alternate those between Berserk, One Piece, and JoJo episodes, Megan?
Fuck no.
The answer is no. Thank you, Josh.
No.
Dan,
we're not.
What are we going to do instead, Megan?
We're going to do it we're going to record him still.
We're going to do another series of episodes.
We're going to record him still.
We're doing more episodes
We're doing more.
Yes.
Can you believe it? More? Volume 1. How can you do more? We're doing more.
We're doing more. And we've said that we were going to get to Dan. Like that's first on that list for like a while now.
You let me down.
But it really is coming. There's just been a lot of stuff kind of going on. But
a lot of stuff.
It is going to be happening. And as soon as you see like the Dan episode, just know that Spy X Family's right behind it.
We just all want to talk about Dan.
So badly.
And we don't get to talk about a series until we do a review on it. So
yeah.
We just like have to sit on these until
we do that for you.
Yeah. So every conversation's genuine, which means we don't get to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. It's a sacrifice we're more than happy
It's like, did you see this? No. We didn't do an episode on it, so don't know why you're talking.
So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for many wonderful Spooktober episodes filled. What's so funny?
Megan is like hitting her head.
I hit my head with
Why are you doing that?
the mic because I fucked up. Okay.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did.
You just took a long time to answer. Okay. Thank you, and stay tuned. We got more Spooktober coming, and you're not gonna want to miss it. Ooh, now we do the ooh. And before we go, we of course have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing. Whenever we see them, we get nosebleeds.
Yeah.
They
my God.
They grow on us like tumors.
They grow on us like tumors. We would want to be trapped in a building with them because we'd be trapped in a building.
They'd be in my zombie survival team.
Yeah.
Oh, and my zombie survival kit too. I'd like to keep them with me at all times because they're valuable.
I'd game with them.
You can't sweep them under the rug.
You can't. Our Patreon members. Thank every single one of you guys. You guys are the absolute best. We love every single one of you. And you know what? Our Patreon grows and our love grows and our community grows and, our hearts grow and what else grows, guys? Our
tumor.
Oh, yeah. That grows a little bit. And you know what? We're just so blown away. And I would just like to give, if you're a Patreon member, and this is only for Patreon members, okay? Only.
You hear that?
If you're not a Patreon member, you just don't stop playing the episode, but just cover your ears.
Don't even think about leaving.
If you're a Patreon member, Cody, give one of our Patreon members a random compliment, but make it very specific, dude.
That guy would turn into the biggest monster I bet that guy's got a monster.
Yes, I like it. I like it. We kind of fleshed it out. Megan, give another Patreon member a special compliment, shout out, whatever you want.
If they were a
but make it specific.
If they were a monster, I would let.
Yeah, okay. I don't like the
What you let them do.
Yeah. Hey, everybody else, unplug your ears.
I was gonna say
because for only $3,
I wouldn't close. I know. This is what you get. I wouldn't close the gate on them.
Okay.
I would let them
give
in
them
the
a
apartment
compliment.
complex because
Give them a
I
compliment,
love
though.
them and I love them.
There we go.
All right.
Now there's an alternative. Joining the Patreon is great, but if you can't afford to do that,
What could you do?
Well, I'll tell you what you can do, Megaroni.
Megaroni?
Yes,
That's a new
ma'am.
one.
Is join the algorithm gang. What's the algorithm gang, man?
Gang. Algorithm gang. The algorithm gang is simple. You can comment whatever you want. You can comment a period or just commenting algo gang. Very, very cool stuff. And that really helps us with the algorithm, with our videos. And it's kind of like supporting us for free.
Because engagement is also considered into YouTube ad revenue.
So thumbs up, thumbs down.
You can view that as giving us tip money. Like
you could.
That does help genuinely support. It's not just a data thing that will give us money.
Yeah,
so.
me and Cody love tips.
And it's completely free. We love tips.
Yeah.
I do too.
No,
I want to add one thing. And I'm gonna try, and I need you guys to remind me to do it in the One Piece episode too. But we put it in the front of the episodes before, but we really need you if you're listening up until this point, and especially if you're listening on audio. even if you don't have like or listen to podcasts on iTunes, go to iTunes and rate us.
we always forget about
forget to do
this.
the rating.
Because, and Cody knows about this, and Megan, I'm sure you do too. Because we have the amount of reviews we have, obviously, our YouTube engagement is more than our iTunes, engagement or reviews. So even one like negative review, like if you thumbs down a video, it's like whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you give us 1 star, like we're at a point where like it takes our rating from like a 5 to like a 4.2. And
why
some
would you give
fucking
them that?
asshole.
Wait, they
did.
did?
And let's just say we kind of know who did that.
They did?
Well, there's 2.
There's 2 bad reviews?
We have 2 1-star reviews.
Oh my God, why was
we
I
have
so
one-
excited?
Yeah, you were
you got
smiling.
excited.
Because like
Because it means we've made it.
What
We
did
have
they
one
say?
1-star and one 2-star. They don't say anything. They don't like actually type out a review.
it's
So all
always
I'm
2
saying-
thumbs down on our YouTube videos.
I'm just saying to stick it to them and to help us
1 thumbs
out.
down the second a video goes up, like someone's
Yeah.
on alert
To
for
stick it to them and to help us out, like just even if you're not on that platform, just give us 5 stars. You don't even have to write a review. Just give us 5 stars because it helps us. It helps that number go up a little bit.
That would be phenomenal.
Thank you.
That to help us.
And that is going to do it for another Volume 1 Spooktober Classic
that was a very
episode.
interesting reaction. Like,
Yeah, very.
I got
someone
really
gave-
sad. I got
someone
like,
gave us a 1-star. Really? They did?
Oh my God, 2? We got 2?
We got 2 1-star reviews?
and then I was like, please.
Yes.
In the arms
The only thing left to do now is to get out of here in our outro. That's always the same and never changes. Which today, of course, is going to be
Volume 1, rock out.
No.
not bad, I guess, but.
All right, Megan, let's hear your
Oh, Megan, you were supposed to be
A+
writing
home
jokes.
runs.
Yeah, I know.
Did you write any jokes?
I just wrote one.
Oh, you said you were going to.
Nosebleed. More like, how will this manhwa proceed? Am I right?
It's just rhyming. That's just a rhyme. I don't know if it's a joke.
I don't even know what I can say about that. I honestly,
But as an outro, I mean, sure.
we can do that as an outro,
Yeah.
like as a bit you wrote out
Yeah.
in your joke section.
Yeah,
of your
where's
notes.
the joke now? All right, do you think,
I like that kind of hit me.
Sweet home. More like,
do you think jokes are just rhyming?
I like rhyming. Oh, shit.
Say it again because I do like it as an outro.
No, it's not a good outro.
But as a joke, it's not a good joke.
It's an awful joke, but,
But
it's
as an outro, it's good. It's good as an outro.
we can just do that.
manhwa.
More like
Anya.
from Spy X Family or Spy Family. What's
God
it? Say it
damn
again.
it.
No,
I don't.
it's a good
Fine,
outro.
Fuck.
It's a good
Nosebleed.
outro.
More like, how will this manhwa proceed?
As an outro, Megan, I need you to understand this. Phenomenal. As an outro, phenomenal. As a joke,
You should check out this because Manhwa are you waiting for?
manhwa, are you waiting for?
I think you can sing that at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, which one are we doing? I like yours, but
Fine.
Okay.
You do. It's perfect for an
How-
outro.
oh my god, the salt levels
Are rising.
they're rising.
They're rising.
Okay, so we're saying how will this manhwa proceed?
Nosebleed. More like, how will this manhwa proceed?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for
kind of a
listening.
mouthful. Until next time, Nosebleed. More like, how will this manhwa proceed? Am I right?
And now do this.
What the fuck?
That's that
What
song.
manhwa are you waiting for? Oh, this is my sorry. Fuck. The